What's up, world? Welcome back to another episode of Just Grow It, the podcast. I'm your host, Big City Gardener, and today we are talking about soil testing. Now, I've mentioned it in many different episodes, but today we're going to go over why it's important and how to collect the best sample for a soil test. So first off, let's talk about why we need a soil test. Now, if you've listened before, you've heard me talk about how the health of our soil is directly related to how productive or how well anything grows. And it doesn't matter what we're growing, whether you're growing trees, fruits, vegetables, turf grass, ornamentals, it doesn't matter. How healthy your soil is will determine how well any of these things grow. Now, healthy or fertile soil is determined by things like the level of specific nutrients, the pH, and all things like the microbiology that we can't see, the fungi and the bacteria within the soil. And the only way for us to accurately know what's in our soil is to have it tested. Now, when I say tested, what I mean is you collect a sample and you send it out to a university. They run it through a bunch of expensive machines that us as home gardeners do not have access to. Then they give you a report. This report tells you the levels you're at now, and then it gives you recommendations on how to reach these optimal levels. Now, these tests aren't expensive, right? And the amount of information that you receive once you have this test done is well worth the $10 that you may pay to take this test. What often happens when people garden is they know specific rules, right? They know that at certain phases, plants need certain nutrients. So during the vegetative state, plants need a lot of nitrogen. Once they go into that transitional into the flowering state, then the plants are going to need potassium and phosphorus. So what a lot of gardeners do is they just add these things to the soil before they need it or when they think they need it. And what they don't know is, one, they could be wasting their money because they could be adding this fertilizer when it's not necessary. And two, they could be harming their garden. If you over-fertilize your garden, that's worse than under-fertilizing your garden, because over-fertilization leads to something known as nutrient lockout. Now, without going into too much detail, just know that when nutrient lockout occurs, what happens is a plant is not able to absorb that nutrient and even other nutrients. So then you end up with a bunch of different issues. You end up with stressed plants that are usually diseased plants. Diseased plants don't produce or yield well, and diseased plants also attract pests and other things. So by simply getting a soil test done, we can have the necessary information to combat all of that. Now, like I mentioned earlier, there are different levels of soil test. They range anywhere from probably $10 all the way up to $100. Now, for the home gardener, I recommend you just get the most basic soil test. This soil test is going to give you results on your macronutrients, your secondary nutrients, and it'll even tell you the pH of the soil. And all of these are important because, remember, not all plants like the same growing conditions. So, for example, if we're trying to grow blueberries, something that likes acidic soil, and we get our sample test and we get our soil test done, and we come out and find out that we don't have acidic soil, well, we can start to add certain things to the soil to correct that. And then we can continue to test the soil until we reach the levels that we want. Now, when it comes to soil test, we need to make sure that we are collecting a sample from everywhere we intend to grow. All right. So every one of our raised beds or in-ground beds or front yard garden, side yard patch, whatever it may be, we need to test every one of these places. And these are what we call our sample areas. And the reason why we're testing every raised bed or every gardening area is because, things just vary from location to location. So rather than just assume that everything is the same or all of our beds are going to match, it's better to just test them all. Now, we need to make sure we're collecting the best sample possible. And how we do that is, step one, we remove the mulch, the grass, the leaves, anything off the top of the soil. So now we have a clear, clean bed. Now let's take, for example, a 4x4 raised bed. We're not just going to take one sample from the middle of the garden bed. No, we're going to take a sample from all around the bed, and then we're going to combine all of this soil into a bucket and then pull our soil test sample from there. That way we're getting a little bit of every area, and that gives us a better overview of what's really going on within our soil. So after we've cleared off the mulch, we're going to take a trowel and go about 6 inches down into the soil. Pull that soil out and throw it into a bucket. Once it's in a bucket, we're going to mix that all together and then pull some soil out and lay it out to dry. You're going to let that soil dry for a day or two, and then you're going to go get a cup to 3 cups of soil, dump it into a heavy-duty plastic bag, and then put that bag in a boxer envelope and mail it off to the Ag Extension office. It's easier and better to send dry soil samples than moist soil. Depending on the time of year that you send off for your soil test, that will determine how quickly you get your results. I know that I usually get my results back in about 2 to 3 weeks. And once you get these results, what's super dope is that not only do they tell you the levels, they tell you steps that you can take to improve your soil and get it to reach optimal levels. If you don't know where your local extension office is or how to get in touch with them, don't worry, you can check these show notes, and I have a link to an article that has all of the Ag Extension offices for America. If you don't want to get it that way, you can head over to bigcitygardener.com and just search soil test, and an article will pull up and a link will pull up. And it'll also have all of these Ag Extension offices listed on there as well. So it's that simple to get a soil test done, and it's that simple to get closer to having really optimal soil fertility and optimal soil health. So to me, there's no excuse for us all not having great soil, because we all have access to the same test and we can get the same information. So that's it for this episode. Hopefully I inspired everybody to go outside, test their soil, and when they get the results, they'll be able to just grow it better. Yeah, man, and that's it. Tell a friend, tell 2 friends, tell 3 friends. I'm trying to see how many times we can get this show downloaded. All right. I have a goal in mind. So I need you guys to please go and tell a friend or 2 to check out Just Grow It, the podcast. Until next time, go outside, put your hands in the dirt, and just grow it. Take it easy. Before I let you go, I need you to do more than one thing. First, I need you to like, comment, subscribe to the podcast. Second, I need you to tell a friend or 2 about the show if you enjoyed it. And if you have anybody you think I need to talk to, I should interview, send the name over, put it in the comments, or send me an email, igrow@bigcitygardener. And check me out, man, on Instagram and on all social media platforms, Big City Gardener. We out. Oh, almost forgot. Just grow it.